Hey folks, welcome to Crazy Gamer Models. I am the Crazy Gamer and I do models. We're setting up this live stream. Just give me a few minutes here to get everything all situated and send out some links to it. So we're gonna I'm just gonna send this message. Okay, almost there, guys. Sending to the groups. One more to go. Okay. Alrighty. Now, we are going to be getting started here. I have the chat pulled up. Now, what is it today? Today is Feedback Friday, and we are going to talk about some stuff. I'm going to give you some feedback on some products that I got today, and we're going to talk about the North Carolina. If you guys saw my teaser video on Wednesday, and then I did a sprue review of the North Carolina trumpeter kit, 1/350th scale, and I did a sprue review of that. I have next week is going to be some photo etch. I have doing the Edard kit in Tom's Model Works. I'm going over the two photo etches. They're going to be two videos, but releasing them at the same time. And then Alliance Model Works, I have gotten a complete gun upgrade set for the North Carolina, and they will be reviewed into detail on the next week. Hey John, how's it going? And we'll review those, and then the build will start. So we are very close to this build starting, and it's going to be a build with some history in it. So I'm going to start just talking about a little bit of the history. I mean, this is all my notes right here for the history and the details of the North Carolina, from, its vital statistics to its armament, everything about its weapons, down to its 46 20mm machine guns. I got everything there for the North Carolina. So we're going to do a little bit of history, a little feedback on the North Carolina. So the North Carolina was laid, the keel was laid in October of 1937 at the New York Navy Yard in Brooklyn, New York. She was the first battleship to be constructed in 16 years. She became the first of 10 fast battleships to join the American fleet in World War II. The North Carolina BB-55 and her sister ship, the Washington BB-56. At the time of commissioning on April 9th, 1941, she was considered the world's greatest sea weapon, armed with 9 16-inch 40 caliber guns in 3 turrets, 25-inch 38 caliber guns, and guns in twin mounts. She also had, it doesn't give all the armament there. She also had a bunch of 40 millimeters in quad mounts, anti-aircraft, and then she had 46 20 mil anti-aircraft. Here, I have it right here. 16-inch 40 caliber, 5-inch 38 caliber, and then that's more on the 38 caliber, more on the 38 caliber, and then she had 40 millimeter 56 caliber guns. Were the quad Bofors guns, and then she had 20 millimeter 70 caliber guns, which were basically a high-powered autocannon, the Oerlikon, Oerlikon. So she had quite a battle load on it. Now, a lot of that stuff was after modifications, after she took a torpedo hit to the side and she went back to Pearl Harbor and she got some weapons upgrades. So that is the version of the North Carolina that I'm going to build. I'm not building the 1941. She was first laid down with a different weapon ornament. I couldn't locate the weapons. And the kit basically has the upgraded weapon systems, which is the quad mount 40 millimeters, and then all of the 20 millimeter anti-aircraft machine guns, 46 of those. So I'm going to do the refitted North Carolina. She's going to have the new antenna mount and all that stuff. But what is most interesting, and I'm just going to give a sneak peek of this, and then we're going to touch on it later in today's stream. This is, boom, the Battleship North Carolina super drawings in 3D. It is basically chock full of stuff for the North Carolina. We're going to talk about that later. So that is what we're going to talk about later. But first, let's check out some stuff I got from a value store next to the Hobby Town at Sanford while I was waiting for it to open. I got this pack of super glue here for $1. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 packs of cheap super glue in little individual tubes. High performance, 3 seconds. Wood, rubber, plastic, metal, paper, leather, super glue. Basically $1 for 10 things of super glue. That's dirt cheap. I mean, I have good glue that I'll never need more glue, but I wanted to try something with this glue that I've heard many different times in many different channels and whatnot, and it is, if you take a tea light and you make a cavity for the glue won't dry out. So we're going to test that. We're going to pull out this tea light here, hopefully. We're going to get the tea light out. And we're going to test this theory here. There it is. We're going to drop this wick down there like that. And now I'm going to try to clog that hole with my blowtorch without burning anything. That should do it. I'm going to let that cool. It was probably not the optimal thing to torch that with. Yeah, dude. That was lucky there wasn't a fire live on TV, live on camera. I was super lucky. Probably shouldn't have used that. But basically I need it solid so I can cut a scoop out of it and then put a bunch of glue in there and see what happens. Luckily my wife's not watching this. So while that is cooling and we're moving on to the next step, last week I talked about the Steven International sanding sticks that my hobby store sells. And I find that the 240 grit and the 320 grit do a fantastic job. I've been using this one right here. This one is 240. It's been working great. I've been sanding stuff. It does get into the tight spots. But I talked about these last week. What am I going to talk about? That's Steven International related. This is crazy. I saw these, and I went there looking for some cool stuff for Feedback Friday. And he was like, hey, check these things out. They're bendable sanding sticks. So I'm like, what? Bendable sanding sticks? So there's basically all these little sanding sticks. They're super thin, and you can bend them, and they hold their shape. So you can bend them into shape, and they're stiff, which is, not hard to come by on a sanding stick. But if you got to get into a corner or you need a rounded shape, you can bend these into, the shape of what you need, and then you can sand out what you're looking for. And not only on top of the fact that they're bendable, they're super thin sanding sticks. I mean, not only are they narrow in their width, but the thickness is super thin. They come in 5 or 6 different grits here. I got a super coarse, probably like a 320. This is like a 400, and this is probably like a 600. So there's, and they're 39 cents. I mean, it's 39 cents for a bendable sanding stick. Yeah, I'm telling you, whatever, 39 cents, guys. So these are the bendable sanding sticks. They're from Stevens International. I got them at my local hobby town. I don't know if all hobby towns have those, but these are pretty cool. These are pretty neat. And they also come in this size here, which is about 3.5 inches by an inch. And it's thin, but there's like a plastic card in there, and you can flex it, but it's not squishy. It doesn't have foam in it. So if you need a nice square sanding spot, you can put it down on your mat and you can sand. You get a nice straight sanding. And again, it comes in the variety of grits here. So yeah, these are new. Steven International again, guys. These are just weird sanding. I haven't seen anything like this before, sanding stick wise. So I'm going to be doing a tool review on these, demonstrating the bending and all that stuff. So that is, pretty cool stuff on those. And then also, while at the Value Variety store, dirt cheap stuff, I got a pack of permanent markers for $1.49. There is 5 large markers in there, so you can always use a marker writing on bags, boxes. Always use that. Check this out. It is a 6-piece hollow punch set. It goes from 1/8 to 5/16. You got to punch out some disc and some plastic card. Boom, this is your tool. You got to punch out some circles. Boom, this is your tool. So, I mean, you could then punch some pretty thin, pretty reasonably thin plastic card. It's hard to find a punch set, so there's a punch set, $3.99, dirt cheap. I mean, punch sets are $40-50 online. So, and this is what I thought was cool, because I see these things at Walmart and everything, and they're expensive. This is a pack of women's makeup sponges, but I'm gonna open them up here. But they're normally expensive, and this was $1.99 for all these different sponges. And basically, I will tear these apart and use them for weathering. You get a lot of different weathering patterns. They're all different textures, and they're pretty colors too. So you can do weathering and prettiness. And then you just tear off a chunk, put it in a pair of like locking tweezers, and dip it in your paint, and you have some great weathering. I mean, makeup sponges normally, super pricey. You can raid your wife's, makeup stuff, but that's just wrong. So, $1.99, you get 2, 4, 6 of them. At this variety store, it was crazy stuff. So, let us see if this is hard here. Yeah, that's pretty. It's still a little warm. Maybe the best to scoop that out. What do I want to scoop it out with? Where's my scooper? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to scoop this out here. Like so. And we're going to see if we can make a little pocket for the glue to go into. Not make a mess everywhere. How many wax carving tools is what we're going to use, guys. So I'm going to heat this up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to burn some more stuff. Nothing like burning stuff on camera. There we go. That's going to work out. Just going to smooth it all out. Nice hole in there. Pour that out. Alright, we have a hole in there. I'm going to definitely let that cool down, and then I'm going to let this. Alright, let's pop some super glue in this thing and see what happens. So this is, like I said, super cheap super glue. So I guess I gotta puncture it. It's kind of gonna go everywhere. That on there. Cap off. I'm gonna put the super glue in there like that. And this tube will probably never be useful again. Alright, I'm gonna let that sit for a minute and see if it does anything while I get rid of all this wax so it doesn't stick to my models and then paint doesn't stick to them. There we go. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys, if you have a hobby table in a hobby area, I'm going to throw this out there. This is a fantastic item to have, and I wasn't planning on showing it, but I have one of these little USB rechargeable like vacuum cleaners for like keyboards and stuff, and these are fantastic for cleaning up your work area. You just suck everything off. I'm not going to turn it on because it's loud. You just suck everything up off your workbench. You're not brushing it on the floor. You're not trying to brush it in a trash can. I would have done it this time, but the whole noise thing. It works great. I use it all the time. It keeps my floor clean. So that way my floor is clean. So if I drop a piece on the floor, it pretty much stands out because there's not a bunch of plastic on my floor. So that's very useful as a hobby tool. That's a free, pop that in there for extra bonus. Okay, so the super glue is still liquid at this point. It's been longer than 3 seconds. So we're going to leave it sit there and see what happens. I assume I can use my glue looper in there, no problem. Just dip my glue looper in there. Yeah, and it pulls out a drop of glue, just like it's supposed to. So this might be a way to store super glue to keep it wet for your projects, especially if you want to buy this cheap glue and after you use it a couple times you can't get any more glue out of it. It's all clogged up, and you can squirt the tube in there and you have it for a while. You can work on a lot of projects. I mainly wanted to try this method because the North Carolina has a lot of photo etch. especially the gun upgrades. I might be doing some soldering on it. I'm not sure. So I wanted to come up with a way to keep my super glue so I didn't have to keep, I normally use the bottle caps, but it dries up pretty quick. I mean, it stays wet for a little bit, but it dries up, after about an hour or two. But if this keeps it wet, for what people say indefinitely, I'm not sure. But, if it keeps it wet for a couple of days, that's fantastic. So I'll have it there all the time. So, all right. Let's go back to our North Carolina history here. The North Carolina was 128 feet 9 inches. The beam was 108 feet 4 inches, and the draft was 32 feet 11.5 inches. Standard emplacement was 35 long tons, which is like 35,000 long tons, which is 36,000 tons. And then fully combat load, it was 45,500 tons. It was powered by General Electric steam turbines, 4 of them, each driving 1 propeller shaft. And then there was 8 boilers to provide the steam. And from what I've heard, there was 4 low-pressure steam engine boilers, and then 4 high-pressure steam boilers. So that's what they were. The turbines top speed of 28 knots, and it could cruise about 17,450 nautical miles at 15 knots. So she carried 3 Kingfisher float planes for aerial reconnaissance, which were launched with a pair of catapults on her fantail. Her wartime complement consisted of 144 commissioned officers and 2,195 enlisted men, including 86 Marines. That is a lot of people on a boat, a ship, as I should say. It's not quite a boat, it's a ship. But, from what I've read in the main gun turrets, the 16-inch gun turrets, you'd have hundreds of people in these gun turrets, and they're not that big. Go on YouTube and watch the tours of the North Carolina, and you'll see that there's not a lot of room, and there were hundreds of people, in these sections, and then there was thousands of people, almost 2,400 men on the ship, just working on it all the time, and it's crazy that many people on it. So, all that good stuff. We're going to talk about the guns when I do the gun reviews, but I just want to talk about that brief history. And then now we're going to get into the book that I received. And I'm going to try very, very hard to put a link to this book in the description of the video after it posts. But I have to find it. This is a Super Drawings in 3D. It is the Battleship North Carolina. This was a steel. The number is 16033. And as you can see, it has a nice 3D rendered of the North Carolina on it. But as you flip through it here, and we're going to go through, we have, some nice history on it, and then 2 pictures there, and then, it continues with the history. But now we have a front and rear view, fully detailed. I mean, look at the detail. This is insane. And this camera's not going to pick up the detail on these pages. That they're glossy. But and then now it talks about more of the history, and you get a little bit of side view from the rear with the planes. And then now it goes into details of each area of the ship. Now, as you can see, the details are insane. I mean, down to what the railing looks like, even the sag in the railings. I am going to try to replicate the sag in the railings. Even, some of these gun turrets had a white stripe on them. How the paint cuts, one of the life rafts on the side, down the middle. So, I mean, the details on this I mean, you can just look through here and you can see all the aerial antennas, the lines, all the rigging, all that's not included in the kit, but can be added to the kit later. And it's something I'm thinking about doing, is adding all this aerial rigging and things like that. But this is, I mean, if you flip through here, the details are incredible. And it's, I mean, you get that little bit of history in the front, but I mean, the deck details, this is just, I can't believe this. Catapult details. I wish every model that you could buy a kit for had a book like this. I would, yeah, that if I could get a book like this for every single model I ever built, this would be awesome. Here's your 20 millimeter Oerlikon machine guns, how they're mounted, the colors of the ammo bags, the belt-fed barrel clip on it, the shields on them. I mean, just fantastic. You got your anchor chain, which is molded on the deck of the kit. So, but you can get a wooden deck upgrade. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to go with the deck that's on there. So, all this detail. I mean, the gun detail. So, I mean, there's like a cool little, some close-up view of the breakwater. Stow davits and paravades can be seen, as well as hose rails and large mushroom head. So this must be some kind of like thing they put in the water for something. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. But I mean, here is your 40 millimeter Bulfer guns, the quad mounts with the shields, and they have ammunition in the gun, and it shows you how the ammunition was painted. It shows the ammo all the way around there, how it was just stock full of ammo, just stored like crazy. You got all your lifeboats, where all your life rafts goes. And if you look at the instructions of any of the photo etch, it says check your references for a good chunk of the parts. It says check your references. So it shows you how to build a section of like a lifeboat, but it doesn't tell you where to put it. You have to check your references. And this book right here is perfect for checking your references. I mean, I got this. It was very cheap. I didn't think it was going to be this good. And when it arrived, I was ecstatic. I cannot believe how good this is. For detail and all around this ship and all the details. But as you can see, just radars and just full detail guns, how they're painted, all the little details on them. And then you have some some different ships in comparison. Here's the North Carolina, the Massachusetts, and then the Iowa, which was a huge ship. That's another fantastic ship if you're looking to build the ship, is the Iowa. And then we come back to some different stuff. Twin 5-inch practice loading machines on the starboard side between the 5-inch turrets. There's only one of these. I don't know what that does. I guess it shoots some kind of practice. Oh, it's for practice shooting stuff down, I guess. So, then we got some more of the life rafts, how they're painted. And we have some overview details. It's just a wealth of information here. Radar systems on the top. Now, this is all for the newer, this is all the refitted North Carolina, not her original 1941 version. But I mean, it even shows like this little section here was green. So, and then there's another shot of it being green. I'm not sure what that is, but, it's all there. You got Machine guns there. You know, all these machine guns everywhere. This thing was well protected from aircraft. And then now it comes into all the details of all the rigging. You know, if you want to rig the ship with all the antennas and whatnot, I might do some extra antennas and piano wire, because I know they're not going to break off. But here's, you know, she's got some binoculars here, binoculars there, you know, just tons of stuff. Here's all the flags for signaling. Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff you could do building one of these ships. It's like, you get like a 200 scale of this, you could really build some stuff. AJD Rose 1000, what's going on? Just the depth of this book is incredible. I can't get over how incredible this book is. This has really inspired me to go above and beyond on this North Carolina. It really has. It's just, I'm decking this out. This is going to be awesome. So, and then there is a large drawing, like blueprint style here of the North Carolina in 1/350th scale. So this is the 1944 North Carolina in 1/350th scale. So this is what it looks like. And then on the back is all the cranes. This is the boat cranes in 1/200th scale. The weapons in 1/50th. You know, it tells you all the different sizes of, you know, the guns, the main artillery, all that good stuff. So nice layout. The 1/350th main layout thing is going to be nice. And then we have some more antenna mounts in the cranes. And we have some good stuff. I mean, it's just American flag on there. More antennas. Just incredible. And, you know, I got some research coming about, you know, where she was hit, deaths on board, you know, possible hauntings. I got someone looking into the research on that. Thank you for doing that. Into the hauntings on the ship. You know, there's all kinds of stuff. I think I'm not quite sure how many people died, but we'll talk about all that, where they died. From what I've been told, some were just locked away and, you know, basically drowned because they weren't allowed out because the ship would have flooded. So that's a pretty gruesome way to die. Could be some activity in those compartments. And you see here at the fantail, you got some quad mount 40 millimeters in the back there. Nice shield around them. Nice pictures of the float planes. More pictures of the fantail. And then here is, this is pretty cool. This is all the other boats that they do. And most of them are out of stock. Like the North Carolina, it says out of stock. But let's see, they got the Massachusetts, the Bismarck, the Missouri, the Hood, the Arizona, but no Hornet or Yorktown. That'd be cool. I want to do a Hornet. So they got the Queen Mary. Wow. That would be awesome for the next one. I bet you we could do some serious spooky ship stuff with the Queen Mary. But yeah, this is quite interesting information that comes in this book here. You guys can get a good look at the cover. You know, pick it up. I got this on Amazon. It was not very expensive. And it's worth every penny of it. It is yeah, no Yorktown, John, sorry. Yeah, that was the first thing I was looking for. No Hornet either, because you know I want to do a Hornet. I want to do a Hornet with the bombers on it, the V-25 Mitchells that launched the counter-strike after Pearl Harbor. First of all, you can't even find that Hornet in a model that launched those. But you can only get, I guess it's the The CV-8 is the Hornet that launched the bombers that hit Japan right after Pearl Harbor with the Doolittle raid. That Hornet would be insane to build with those bombers on the deck. That would be so cool. And it's nice because you're not building that many planes. You're only building, I think it was 25 planes. So you're not building that many planes on it. But that in 1/250th scale would be nuts. From what I hear, they stripped that ship down, so there was hardly anything left on the deck. So it would be, you would need some serious reference for that, because the Hornet kits you get now are the newer generation Hornet, and even the upgrade kits you get for it are for the refitted Hornet that, you know, is a different ship entirely. It's a different class of ship, so the parts aren't even exchangeable. Same thing with like the CV-5 and the CV-10 of the Yorktown. The CV-5 Yorktown's a different class of aircraft carrier than the CV-10. So, you know, all that good stuff. Let's check on our super glue. Our super glue. It's still fluid. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to stick my stick in there and see if it's still moving around. Yeah, that whole pile of glue is still, yeah, it's all the way deep and still fluid around here. So maybe this is a thing. Y'all should keep watching my videos, because I'm gonna check it every video I do and see if it's still good. I'll put a little date and time of when I did it, and we'll see how long it lasts. And remember, if you get glue on your glue looper tool, you just burn it off with a lighter. Not the blowtorch, people. Not the blowtorch. Don't do things with the blowtorch. It's probably not a good idea. Now, guys, there's going to be a review on Tuesday of a new product I'm going to show you here. I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me. It's these GSO Krios Mr. Hobby. They're glue applicators. They're interesting. They're like a plastic super glue doesn't stick to, so it wipes right off or chips right off. There's a review of these on Patreon right now, and then on Tuesday it'll be available on YouTube. But if you want to check that out, you can visit my Patreon page, and it comes with a little dish to put the super glue in, but it definitely dries out the super glue pretty quick. So they're plastic. I'm going to be trying them on the North Carolina, because they got some nice point ones, and they got some ones for putting down lines of glue. So I'm going to try it out. Some comments I got on the Patreon site. People say they'd be good for basing, like getting into tight spots on bases, unlike your 40K bases, on your larger bases, for tucking in glue. So you guys can check out that review on Tuesday. Tomorrow is Tiger Tank Saturday. We actually made some progress on the Yag Tiger. There's actually progress made on the Yag Tiger. There's the base color down in the hull, so you guys check out that. There's not as much progress on the King Tiger, but there is progress on the King Tiger. So you got that build review tomorrow on Tiger Tank Tuesday, and on Sunday on Panther Tank Sunday, there is on actually building, that you want to build a Panther. So you decided, you know, my next model is going to be a Panther. Where do I go from there? There's tons of Panthers. Well, I want to build a Panther with a full interior. So there's, you know, 30, 40 kits with full interiors. I don't know if there's 40, but I own like 25. So there's tons of kits with full interiors. There's Berg Panthers, Yag Panthers, Panthers A's, D's, G's, the Paper F. So I talk about how do you go through and pick what Panther you want to build. So Panther Tank Sunday is all about that. We're going to get back to the painted Panther very shortly, and all that good stuff. So next week on Thursday will be the review of the photo etch of the North Carolina. There will be the Edard set and the Tom's Model Work set that actually came with my North Carolina from Hobbytown. The Edard set is larger. The instructions are a little bit bigger, but there's some similarities and things like that between the two, and some are better than the others, and others are better. I think the Edard kit wins out overall. But watch the 2 reviews, and then on next week's Feedback Friday, I'm going to do a comparison side by side between the two and point out all the differences and what I think is better between each set. And I will say that the Edard set comes with much more photo etch, a lot more photo etch, and the handrails and guardrails are pre-cut. So they're pre-measured and pre-designed. All you gotta do is bend them and put them in place. Whereas with the Tom's Model Works, you have to, size them yourself. So, well, that's gonna do it for this this live stream on Feedback Friday. Try to keep it, 45 minutes to an hour, and that's about all I have. There was no questions, so that's gonna be it. Showed you my cool stuff. We did my little super glue experiment. We'll follow up on that in future videos. And then we talked a little bit about the bendable sanding sticks that we are going to have a tool review on Patreon on Tuesday, and then you guys will see it on YouTube a week later. So that's going to do it for this stream. Thank you all for stopping by. For Crazy Gamer Models, I am the Crazy Gamer. You guys have a fantastic day.